Olá pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Eu me chamo Marcos Queiroz, para quem não me conhece. Finalmente conseguimos entregar para vocês a quarta parte dos nossos vídeos sobre Vastu Shastra. Estou muito feliz porque a gente conseguiu fechar essa quadrilogia aí de vídeos muito interessantes, muito bem feitos, muito elaborados assim, e que a gente conseguiu e fez a tradução. Digo a vocês que eu, dominando um pouquinho mais a produção de legendas, de edição de vídeo, eu comecei a pensar, por que não trazer alguns vídeos, alguns filmes, alguma coisa assim que não tenha tradução em português para facilitar a vida das pessoas. E aí saí procurando quais seriam esses vídeos, até que cheguei à conclusão de que Vastu Shastra é um assunto que temos pouco material, né, na internet, pouco material produzido, um assunto importante que me interessava muito e que eu até não tinha estudado muito porque não tinha muito material, porque não encontrava esse material. E agora nós estamos chegando a essa parte final, que é das leis da informação, ou leis informativas, né, como está sendo traduzido, depois de termos passado pela introdução, pelas leis energéticas e depois pelas leis geométricas. Agora vamos para as leis de informação, ou leis da informação. E quero dizer a vocês que esse vídeo ele tem uns detalhes interessantes, porque estão muito ligados a uma fase que eu estou bastante agora gostando de estudar, que é a astrologia. Então ele trata bastante de astrologia védica, né? E traz informações importantíssimas. Eu diria a vocês que essas leis de informações elas se dividem em influência planetária, planetas e 9 segmentos, interações mútuas dos planetas e astrologia védica. Essas as 4 partes que está dividido esse vídeo, e vocês vão ver como eles têm informações interessantes ligadas à astrologia védica. E quero chamar a sua atenção de algumas questões importantes, que em determinados momentos a gente vai ver dito que essas leis são para uma melhor qualidade da informação que a gente pode ter diante de tudo que a gente já viu nos outros vídeos, né? Mas são informações úteis e talvez assim algumas que complementem com a questão prática. O vídeo vai direto em questões bem de onde deve localizar determinados pontos da casa no projeto, como o quarto, o sanitário, a cozinha, e dentro de cada divisão da casa, como deve ser feito o design de interiores de cada ambiente, porque esses ambientes também obedecem a uma orientação de pontos cardeais, né? E a gente vai ver esse detalhe bem interessante, estudado, mostrado, então, com exemplos, né? E depois dentro da propriedade, né? Falando da parte do paisagismo no ambiente externo, da urbanização das áreas livres e tal. E é importante que a gente perceba que, enquanto as outras leis, a introdução, as leis energéticas e as leis geométricas mexiam com o lado visível e físico, que eu diria, dentro de uma abordagem teosófica, seria o lado físico e astral, as leis informativas, as leis de informações, estão mais relacionadas ao mental e ao intuitivo. Seria como se a gente estivesse já passando para uma abordagem mais transcendente. Muita gente pode pensar até que o mental é menos evoluído que o energético, mas considerando aí o energético, emocional e físico mais próximo da realidade da nossa vida. A gente percebe que através de vários textos clássicos antigos, a gente tem informações que mostram como transformar o vasto, que é a parte transcendente, energética, sutil, que vinda dos princípios presentes nos Vedas, nos livros dos Vedas, se transforma em vasto, que seria essa energia aplicada na casa, na residência, no mundo material, no mundo físico, e entender como essas coisas se transformam e como elas podem ser úteis para a gente no dia a dia, com exemplos práticos é muito importante. A gente vai ver também as posições dos pontos cardeais e os planetas associados. E aí eu quero chamar a atenção de vocês que na astrologia védica se utiliza 9 planetas, sendo que 2 deles não são propriamente planetas, são chamados nodos lunares ou nódulos lunares, que eles chamam aqui de Rahu e Ketu, né? Chamam de planetas, então quero só destacar aqui o cuidado para a gente não confundir, porque até mesmo a gente chamar Sol e Lua de planeta na astrologia já é estranho e para os astrônomos isso passa a ser ridículo e tudo. Imagine se chamar os nodos lunares, que são pontos de inflexão, pontos de conexão entre o eixo de giro da Lua e o eixo de giro do Sistema Solar. Então, esses pontos onde se encontra a Lua, chamado Nodo Norte e Nodo Sul, tem uma influência muito grande na astrologia kármica, na astrologia védica, e a gente vai ver aí como eles, no Vastu Shastra isso tem uma importância muito grande. Outra coisa que eu quero dizer é que a gente vê aí indicações de churrasqueiras, de adegas, etc. Parece estranho uma tradição milenar que é vegetariana, prega a alimentação saudável, prega o uso adequado das substâncias a ponto de não ingerir álcool, drogas, etc. Mas o que está se falando aí é quando se faz o projeto para outras pessoas e as pessoas querem fazer uma adega, querem fazer um churrasco. Então eu quero só chamar a atenção sobre isso. Também quero chamar a atenção sobre os 5 elementos, que em muitos momentos está sendo utilizado o termo éter, que é um termo utilizado mesmo pelos hindus e tudo, mas o termo mais usual para os tattvas é o akasha, né? Que seria um dos 5 elementos, e aí vocês vão ver em muitas publicações falar mais de akasha, que pode ser traduzido como éter, mas a gente usa o éter para uma nomenclatura assim, dentro da teosofia, considerando aqueles 4 éteres que tem depois do sólido, do líquido e gasoso, dos subplanos de cada plano, né? Isso tudo oriundo da filosofia hinduísta, né? Uma outra coisa que eu quero chamar muita atenção é que vocês vão ver repetidas vezes a informação de que no centro da casa, ou do terreno, ou do que for que esteja projetando, até de um cômodo, centro de um cômodo, é indicado que se deixe para uma homenagem ou uma honra a Brahma. Isso é óbvio que depender da religião da pessoa ou da não religião da pessoa. Esse espaço do centro pode ser dedicado a alguma coisa que seja o grande objetivo da pessoa. É preciso entender que Brahma, num significado mais detalhado da palavra, seria o Deus pessoal, não o Parabrahma, que é o Deus transcendente, é um Deus manifesto, é o Deus que se conecta conosco, aquele Deus para quem a gente apela mesmo, é o Deus que poderia ser considerado aquele Deus das religiões, e também o nosso interior, o nosso self, o nosso Atma, o nosso eu profundo, que no entendimento maior seria representado também pelo centro da casa. Bem junguiano isso mesmo, né? Não é à toa que as mandalas vêm de lá, ou os mandalas vêm do hinduísmo, vem do yoga, e Jung trouxe muitos conteúdos no seu estudo de religião comparada vindos do hinduísmo, então não é à toa que ele considere sempre uma representação do mandala como algo central, e no centro estando aquela representação do divino, e aí a gente percebe como é importante a gente fazer essas associações todas. Então é isso, pessoal, vamos lá, vamos ver o vídeo, espero que vocês gostem. Estamos então finalizando com esse vídeo, prestem muita atenção nos detalhes que estão colocados aí, façam anotações dentro do possível. Tá assim um pouquinho, na verdade as legendas acabam passando um pouquinho rápido. Fizemos pela primeira vez usando inteligência artificial, a legenda facilitou bastante a nossa vida, deu trabalho ainda para a gente fazer os efeitos sonoros, que isso é o que mais dá trabalho, mas pelo menos a parte da legenda já foi melhor do que das outras vezes que não tínhamos ainda acesso à inteligência artificial para gerar legendas, e nesse foi feito isso. Mas, de qualquer forma, pode ser que as legendas estejam um pouquinho aceleradas aí. Eu peço paciência a vocês para pausarem em alguns momentos, quando precisarem ler com mais calma, com mais cuidado. Fizemos uma revisão também, mas pode ser que tenha passado alguma coisa, né, da tradução que não tenha ficado perfeita, tá certo? Porque não tivemos assim tanto tempo para dedicar a esse tipo de trabalho de edição, mas mesmo assim foi algo que tomou um tempo muito grande. Tá certo? Então, espero que vocês apreciem. Vamos lá, vamos assistir sem mais delongas ao vídeo.
Informative laws are divided into 4 laws related to the finest informative quality. Energies and proportions in a house are manifested at a visible and emotional level, but informative laws are valid at the level of consciousness. The first informative law tells us that each cardinal point, or a segment of a house, if you will, is assigned to one of the 9 nearest planets that orbit the Earth and whose energetic potential is strong enough to affect our lives. we're talking about the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. The second informative law tells us about the energies and the influence of the planets, how they can affect different segments of the house, as well as the qualities of its inhabitants. The Sun, for instance, is responsible for health, meditation room, windows to the right from the main entrance from an observer's perspective, which means that the observer is here, inside the house, here's the main entrance, and solar windows are here. The Sun is also responsible for childhood, growth, grace, learning, happiness and spiritual liberation. The Moon in the northwest is in charge of wells, bathrooms, cooling, windows to the left from the main entrance, as well as feelings, movement, feminine matters and change. Mars in the southeast manages the kitchen, fireplace and everything connected with fire, as well as career, assertiveness, masculine matters, research, technology and war. Mercury is in charge of the entrance hall, guest area, veranda, green areas, office, as well as communication, finance, business, commerce, childhood or intelligence. Planets Rahu and Ketu are subtle planets that greatly affect the karma of every human being. You will find this chart in the download section. The third informative law tells us about the mutual interactions of the planets. According to Vedic astrology, they can be in a friendly, neutral or hostile relationship, as you can see on this chart. Knowing this, it is not advised to combine functions in a given segment whose planetary representatives are enemies. For example, the northeastern segment, under the domination of Jupiter, is suitable for meditation purposes. But if you placed a bedroom here, which is ruled by Venus, you wouldn't sleep well in here simply because Jupiter and Venus are enemies. Astrology can calculate how the planets move, line up together and influence each other for 100 years in advance. So having your individual Vedic horoscope is very practical, as it warns you before any problems occur. In order to avoid this interplanetary combat in your house, Vastu has derived a universal division of the functions in the house. So, this is our house aligned with the cardinal point. The northeast segment, the most valuable part of the house or a property, there should be a meditation room, living room, study, balcony, porch or underground cellar. Definitely avoid toilet, kitchen or septic tank at the property level. Living room is actually suitable for every segment, but ideally in the northeast. In our conditions, since we do not have as much sun as in India, east would be okay too. A general rule in Vastu says that you have to be extremely cautious in spaces where you work with fire, wastewater or waste in general. In the east, there can be living room, dining room, bathroom without a toilet, meditation place or the main entrance. As long as you have the main entrance facing east, you will achieve health, happiness and wealth. Southeast is the segment of fire element, so a kitchen, stove, electrical installations, heaters or sauna should be placed in here. In the south, which is under the control of Mars, can be bedroom, living room, storage space, pantry or staircase. Avoid the cellar at the house level or a well at the property level. I'm sure you remember that southern segment belongs to the negative zone, and digging a hole would only multiply the negative potential. In the southwest segment, governed by Rahu, parents' bedroom, storage space, pantry, waste storage or workroom with heavy machines are optimal. Try to avoid children's room in this segment due to its heavy grounding energies that may cause harm to the kids. They might learn poorly, become lazy or so. Cellar and well are also not recommended in this segment. In the West, dining room, study, studio, kids' room, bathroom with a toilet are suitable. Avoid cellar or well in this part of your property. Northwest is the most dynamic segment of all, so a guest room fits here perfectly. The guests will come and leave quickly, not bothering you for long. Great is also gym, office, bathroom with toilet, storage room. This dynamic creative space is very good for a children's room. In the north, living room, study, kids' room or entrance are suitable. The spaces should be open, welcoming the energy from the north. North is also connected to the finance, so your safes should also be in this segment. The central segment should remain free for Lord Brahma. Put here a table with flowers or universal yantras like Shri Yantra, Vastu Purusha Mandala, or there is also a 3D version of Shri Yantra called Meru Chakra. It is an alloy of 5 precious metals and has amazing potential. We can go into more detail and design a living room. We will again divide the space into 9 fictional segments. The northeast, which is the most energy efficient part, we will leave it free. At best, we can put an indoor fountain or mirrors to increase positive energy. East will also be free, or with a dining table or mirrors. In the southeast, under the rule of fire, a TV, fireplace, stereo, candles or some form of heating are suitable. We will load the south with some heavy cabinets, shelves and the sitting area to neutralize the negative energy, which we discussed in the energetic section. Southwest, with the heavy earthly energy, should also be loaded with something heavy like a cupboard, shelves or how about a piano? West is suitable for dining table, cabinets or shelves. A rocking chair would fit nice for the northwest, and we will leave the north empty with an aquarium, plant, mirror or some art. The center of the living room should stay free for Lord Brahma. We can put a nice carpet here. I forgot the windows and the entrance. Okay, if this living room was in the southern segment, I would have my windows here, and I would place the entrance here, connecting living room with the kitchen, which must be in the southeast anyway, because southeast is the house of fire. And let's do the kitchen too. I make absolutely sure that my stove is in the southeastern segment, right here. Here in the east, I have water zone with the sink, and here I'll put my drinking water barrel. The south I will load with cabinets, fridge will be here in the northwest. And I move the dining table from the living room and put it here in the west, which is a great segment for this function. This eastern wall is perfect for big windows to let the prana energy come in the house. I can also decide if I want to keep the walls in the north and west or make kitchen and living room as one big open space. And altogether it will look like this. Here's a quick tip. All your clocks and mirrors should be hanging on the northern or eastern walls. Also, while sitting on a toilet bowl, you should be facing north or east. Here we have the same grid, but on the property level. Northeast is good for swimming pool, flower garden without high trees. You could also dig a cellar here. East is also suitable for garden, terrace, swimming pool, and here in the east is the ideal position for the main entrance to the property. Southeastern segment, ruled by fire, is great for storage or electric devices, or as a relaxing barbecue zone with open fire. Never place swimming pool here. Actually, the only suitable segments for swimming pool are northeast, east and north. South is already in the negative energetic zone and should be loaded with high and heavy objects and no water at all. Southwest has the heaviest energies and therefore is a great place for high trees, adjacent buildings, walls or stones. Ideally, the property should decline towards the north, east or northeast. Western segment is good for trees, high walls. It should be loaded with only little space left free. Northwest is ideal for garage, in which case the main entrance should be from the north. Also a herbal garden, cattle shed or storage for bicycles. In the north, you can put a garage, water terrace, no high trees, but you can dig a cellar here. Any hole in the northeast multiplies positive energy. Remember the rule number 1 from energetic section. The center of the property should stay free, or you can build an altar or a fountain for Lord Brahma. Visually, it could look like this. When designing the space at the house level or a property level, Vastu also takes into account the selection of suitable timber. In this graph, you can see suitable trees for each direction. Beech and oak, extremely dense and heavy timber on the south and southwest. Trembling birch reminds me so much of Vata in Ayurveda. Red cherry in the southeast, that's no coincidence. You should check this chart before you have your furniture made, that's for sure. Here we have the same grid but on the property level. Northeast is good for a swimming pool, flower garden without high trees. You could also dig a cellar here. East is also suitable for garden, terrace, swimming pool, and here in the east is the ideal position for the main entrance to the property. Southeastern segment, ruled by fire, is great for storage or electric devices, or as a relaxing barbecue zone with open fire. Never place swimming pool here. Actually, the only suitable segments for swimming pool are northeast, east and north. South is already in the negative energetic zone and should be loaded with high and heavy objects and no water at all. Southwest has the heaviest energies and therefore is a great place for high trees, adjacent buildings, walls or stones. Ideally, the property should decline towards the north, east or northeast. Western segment is good for trees, high walls. It should be loaded with only little space left free. Northwest is ideal for garage, in which case the main entrance should be from the north. Also a herbal garden, cattle shed or storage for bicycles. In the north, you can put a garage, water terrace, no high trees, but you can dig a cellar here. Any hole in the northeast multiplies positive energy. Remember the rule number 1 from energetic section. The center of the property should stay free, or you can build an altar or a fountain for Lord Brahma. Visually, it could look like this. Vastu and Ayurveda come from the same source and both work with the 5 elements: ether, air, water, fire and earth. These elements, converted into 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta and Kapha, manifest themselves as follows. Northeast means balance of the 3, or Sama Prakriti. Vata, Pitta and Kapha are equally strong here. East belongs to a combination Pitta-Vata. When we move to southeast, there's Pitta. The south, Pitta-Kapha, and the southwest, pure Kapha, with the heaviest energies present. The west is a combination of Vata-Kapha. The northwest segment is called a dynamic, or the house of Vata dosha, and the north is a combination of Vata-Kapha. If I am aware of my Ayurvedic constitution, let's say I'm Kapha, I'll not place my bedroom or office where I spend a lot of time, in this case to the southwest, because this segment is already Kapha dominant. What I look for is the opposite. Each dosha has specific features or qualities, as well as needs that are the opposite of its qualities. So we will try to move Kapha into the segments where Pitta is present. Likewise, Vata dominant person cannot have the bedroom in the northwest because they would go crazy there. What would you think would be the best sleeping segment for a Vata person? You say the northeast, where no element dominates and every constitution should thrive. But at the same time, it is not a good place to sleep due to the strong spiritual energies constantly rising up. We are looking for a grounding segment that calms down dynamic Vata, or segment with fire energy, which can heat up cold Vata. So, south or southwest could be the choice. From Ayurvedic point of view, a problem can be solved not only by diet or activity, but also by choosing where you will perform it. If you're interested in the basics of Ayurveda, check my another class called Ayurvedic Nutrition Masterclass. This chart will tell us about 9 segments with regards to the different parts of the human body. Northeast controls head and brain, East is in charge of eyes and heart, liver in the southeast, kidneys and abdomen in the south, feet and bones southwest, in the west we have kidneys and abdomen again, northwest controls stomach, anus, spleen, lungs, and north belongs to thyroid gland and neck, all closely related to previous Ayurvedic division. So, when there is a problem in a given segment, you can expect health issues in respective organs or parts of the body. The 4th informative law deals with the Vedic astrology, the Jyotish, and its use in creating a space according Vastu. Astrology is the most subtle tool to harmonize a human with their building. It basically shows you your past life in the present form, in other words, your present karma. The word ascendant means that when a human is born from the mother's womb and connects with the external energies for the first time, it is very important which planets were on the eastern horizon at the moment, since those planets are going to influence your life in a positive way. On the other hand, declining planets which were on the southern and western horizon will be taking your energy throughout the life. And thanks to astrology and its precise calculations, you can predict different events or circumstances in your life with utmost precision. In Vastu, we can use this information in our advantage, and by choosing suitable interior colors, colors of your clothing, materials in your house, jewelry you wear, or other means, you have the opportunity to correct or influence the impact of these 9 planets. Look at this chart, showing a fictional ascendant of a person. Red bars express negative planets, blue bars are neutral, and the green one is a favorable planet. It tells us that the person must have done something in the previous life that upset Mercury, And in the present life, this planet is trying to make him or her realize their past actions through different obstacles in their lives. Rahu and Ketu are always evil planets, no matter when or where you were born. They are considered villains, evil from a human's perspective, but possessing a very noble purpose from a bigger picture. Planet Ketu is responsible for causing material and health issues to every living creature on Earth or in this universe. Through these afflictions and disappointments, it is trying to push you back on a spiritual path. The moment you realize this, its influence begins to decline. If, on the other hand, you are stubborn, materially attached, approaching your life with false ego, mind and intelligence, Ketu's strength will grow stronger, and each subsequent incarnation will only lead you to a greater misery. A person who would embark on a pure spiritual path is not bothered by Ketu anymore. And at this point, the planet Rahu comes in. Rahu's purpose is challenging your subtle consciousness so that when you choose an honest spiritual path, Rahu begins to offer you various occult sciences, witchcraft, psychotronics, different religions to confuse you. But when Rahu finds out that you are firmly convinced of your path, it withdraws immediately. Planets Rahu and Ketu are pure disaster for materially oriented people who do not understand why they keep failing in lives, have problems, and the harder they try, the worse it gets. Your Vedic horoscope is basically a seal of your past life, where you have ended, whether you have made spiritual progress or material one, etc. Should you choose to continue in a materially oriented lifestyle, your Vedic horoscope informs you 100 years in advance what you can expect in terms of health, injuries, happiness, wealth, relationships, whatever. However, choosing a pure spiritual path, this graph will cease to apply. In other words, your karma and various difficulties you were about to experience in this life will not happen. From Vastu point of view, if I have such a horoscope, there are means to correct your karmic circumstances. One of them is a conscious choice of the colors of the building and interiors. In this picture, you can see which colors are associated with each planet. The logic is that if I know that my negative planet is Mercury, I will avoid the color green in the house and will prefer the colors of my favorable planets to strengthen their positive influence towards me. Another approach is wearing various precious stones. From this chart, it is clear that person with such ascendant will avoid jewelry with emerald and rather wear gems assigned to the Sun, the Moon and Mars, the positive planets. Another instrument are yantras and mantras. Because Mercury is negative planet in this ascendant, this person can meditate looking at the Buddha yantra or chant the Buddha Bij mantra every morning 108 times. Here you can see different yantras and mantras associated with the 9 planets. When we talk about yantras, we have to mention that it is only a temporary solution to a construction defect if you have one. Yantra is a subtle instrument that works at the level of consciousness of the inhabitants of the house. It doesn't physically solve the problem, it only balances the subtle energies so that they do not harm you physically or mentally. There are special yantras for various types of defects, as well as powerful universal yantras like Meru Chakra or Shri Yantra, which are usually placed in the center of the house. Working with yantras is a very delicate method. Nevertheless, Any yantra you would like to obtain should come with a certificate, and the moment of its installation or muhurta must be precisely calculated in regards to your ascendant in order for its energetic potential to work. You should consult these details with an expert. And don't forget, yantras are only used for a temporary period of time until you fix the problem for good, so don't rely on them. In order to avoid Vastu defects, there are different tools you can use, like these paper detectors, which are able to evaluate different rooms or functional spaces, and on a scale from 0 to 8, they will tell you the severity of the given Vastu defect, if there is any in a given place. One of the biggest defects in Vastu, by the way, is the toilet in the northeast segment. If this is your case, remove it immediately, or at least close off the drain and do not use it. Single Vastu defect is not a problem, but several defects are. And they do not cause trouble immediately. It takes about 5 years to show up or more. Furthermore, I can neutralize the influence of the negative planets through various activities like donations, pujas, prayings, or kindness directed at the beings under their protection. In this case, the hostile Mercury will appreciate kindness or compassion towards little girls, good relationships with your sisters, maternal and paternal aunts or sisters-in-law. When we talk about Rahu and Ketu, serving old people with dedication or maintaining good relationships with siblings increases auspicious results. Rahu and Ketu can also be pacified by helping people in need, impoverished individuals, or donating rice to the poor and Brahmis. There is a vast open source list of different activities and remedies for individual planets. Vedic astrology can also provide you with your individual housing horoscope, personal direction, where you are advised to stay for a long time, your favorable and unfavorable directions that should be avoided, individual segments where, if a prescribed activities are performed, will be blessed with success. We are covering the topic of astrology only marginally in this class, just to give you a rough idea. However, I'm not an astrologer myself, and therefore the specific Vastu implementations with regards to astrology should be consulted with an expert in this field. And for the accuracy of the calculations, one should know the exact moment and place of the birth. There is, however, one practical question arising here. What do I do in real life, where my family, my husband, my children are completely different Ayurvedic constitutions or different astrological types? How can we possibly design a Vastu house for several totally different individuals so that all can prosper and live under one roof at the same time? Well, in Vedic society, these things were known, taken into account, and couples were consciously matched according to their individual horoscopes, which was very practical. They avoided dissonant horoscopes so that the couple could at least share a common bedroom or other spaces in the house, do same activities, use the same colors, jewelry, buying the same furniture, and so on. Given that nowadays people get together totally by chance, without knowing the consequences, there is a bit of a problem with that. Vastu solved this by finding at least one frequency that is common to everyone. So if white color is favorable, or at least neutral for all members of the household, we paint common areas, hallways, halls, living areas white. But for example, a kid's room, which is not your main space, you're free to use a color frequency directly suitable for a child. If you have your own living horoscope with, let's say, southwest suitable for you as a bedroom but not for your spouse, so you should both sleep somewhere else, because one of you will always be at a disadvantage. And that is the tax you have to pay for being in a random marriage. But I have read somewhere that husbands and wives split up anyway because men start snoring. Even conceiving a child in Vedic society was subjected to precise astrological moment in order to give birth to a child with the desired qualities. A specific ascendant and the best planetary constellations were chosen so that a child would live in happiness and do not suffer much. No demons or evil people were born at that time. The whole society was peaceful, pure and pious. Today, by giving birth to children at a random basis, we can inadvertently produce a demon that is born in very unfavorable conditions in terms of the position of planets and energies, and this being is doomed to be unhappy and applies its misfortune to the environment. All we have said here is only a materialistic view of life. All these details are nothing but feeding our false ego, mind, intelligence, how clever I am, how I understand everything, but pure spiritual path is liberated from these things. The point is, we have not solved the essence of our problem at all. And do you know what our main problem is? The fact that we are here in this material universe and how to get out of here. The Vedas, Vastu, Ayurveda only alleviate our suffering, but they will not solve it.
Bom, pessoal, espero que vocês tenham gostado desse vídeo. Eu gostei demais. Na verdade, gostei de todos os 4, né? Esse vídeo em especial eram 4 vídeos que eu juntei em um só, mas porque realmente estava numa grande subdivisão de 4 mesmo tudo, e a gente acaba tendo um tamanho mais ou menos igual para todos os vídeos, né? Espero que vocês tenham gostado da experiência e quero dizer a vocês que ainda está de pé aquela ideia de agora nos dedicarmos ao vídeo ou os vídeos que a gente tem pela frente aí com mais detalhes. São vídeos que a gente também conseguiu com algumas praticantes do Vastu Shastra descrevendo, que são arquitetas também, né, e arquitetos, que descrevem a prática, a utilização com plantas baixas, com desenhos, com aplicações práticas de detalhamentos também, e que vão ser muito úteis para a gente aprofundar. Só peço paciência que a gente não vai poder fazer isso logo, mas prometo a vocês que o mais rápido que a gente puder, a gente vai colocar esse material. Temos outros no nosso canal está dividido em várias outras vertentes e tal, então a gente vai ter que ter um tempo ainda para poder apresentar esse material. Vamos estudar a melhor forma que vamos apresentar eles, mas está de pé ainda essa ideia de fazermos os vídeos com mais detalhamento, com assim, questões mais técnicas, até úteis para arquitetos mesmo, e quem não é arquiteto vai ter que correr um pouquinho atrás de informações, e a gente vai, dentro do possível, aqui ajudar a vocês nesse sentido, tá certo? Se gostaram desse vídeo, por favor, deixem um like, se inscrevam no canal e apertem o sininho para obterem notificações todas as vezes que a gente colocar vídeos como esse no nosso canal. Nos vemos no próximo vídeo e um grande abraço.